Welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history album by album and track by track. And we have just started a new journey on a new band for this channel, Sparks, and their debut album, Sparks, also called Half Nelson initially, both the band and the album, before they had to change their name and album title, because the album didn't sell very well under Half Nelson, and the record company executive, Albert Grossman, he thought that it probably would sell more if they were named Sparks, which it didn't. So we have arrived at the second song, Fala Fali, and this is a song written by Ron Mayall, one of the two brothers in the band. And Chris here, he hasn't heard any of these songs before, so This is a
first time
reaction for him. Ton, have you heard this song before? You haven't heard part of this album?
The title seems a bit familiar.
We'll see.
We will see.
Let's
see
have a listen and see how that goes. Fala Fali.
Yeah, that was an odd little song. Various flavors in this cake doesn't necessarily fit together. Opens with a sort of 60s pub rock with this organ, and then comes the opera-ish singing that is, I think it's harder on the ear than on the last song. I think this sort of doesn't fits right. Then you got the Super Mario Brothers ish piano section, and some solo bass, and then some guitar in the end, and yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Super Mario because
it's
that
20
keyboard
years
is
too early
very
or more.
kind of 8-bit type of
Very
music.
8-bit
We think
piano.
about the
or some-
diddy-diddy-diddy.
yeah.
Yeah, that as well. They even have that in there.
Yeah. Well,
And this was a couple of years before Super Mario.
you could say that. Yeah, 1972. Is that?
Yeah.
Could we maybe say that the Sparks Brothers inspired Nintendo as well?
Well,
Probably. I mean, they make a point in the documentary that came in 2021 by Edgar Wright, the Sparks Brothers. I can't remember who said it, but there's something about that. Every music that exists is rearranged Sparks and rearranged someone else. I can't remember either.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
you're probably right, Tom.
Sure. And
Super Mario was the Sparks rearrangement.
yes. Yes. And I think it's from the documentary that I have because I've the first line, "She ain't heavy, she's a brother to me." It's definitely quoted in there.
yeah. It's
Play on
the Hollies.
The Hollies.
Yeah.
But it's she that ain't heavy. She's a brother. It's a funny line. It's a very good line. I think.
It's a very good starting line.
Yes, probably. I think the rest of the lyric must have just grown out of that wordplay in the opening.
Russell,
Doesn't-
the vocalist here,
Yeah.
Russell Nile, he actually said, "She ain't heavy, she's a brother to me." One of my favorite lines. And I didn't have anything to do writing it. I sang the song with a cold in my nose. Ron Mile, he also commented the song. He said, "Incest at the roller rink." Russell had a cold, so he did his voice on 4 tracks to compensate. It ended up sounding like 4 tracks of a person with a cold.
Yeah, there was something about that vocal. Yeah.
I find this song super catchy.
Yeah, me too.
I love the, I think it's a Farfisa organ or something like that in the beginning there.
Yeah. Yeah, the organ is great. But
Up-tempo,
I
joyful
don't
melody.
immediately want to listen to this again, but with the Wonder Girl, I could go back and listen again.
I could put this on right now.
I listen to this a lot. It does move through many parts, as you say, and there's it almost sounds like it moves into a tango for a short while. It sort of almost starts like a tango, then it goes back into the main part. It's also been called a proto-new wave type of song. Can't remember by who.
Yeah, there's elements.
And lyrically, at the first glance, it may sound like the struggle between a platonic friendship and a sexual relationship. But as also Ron says, incest at the roller rink. It is an incestuous song, sung from the point of view of a man who wants to basically have sex with his sister. You know, she thinks only of the higher parts of me. Such a shame. Whereas I set my sights much lower. Then I sing falafali, but that would be a felony. Maybe the title actually is a play on the word felony.
That might be, yeah. It's short lyric. There's not many lines.
And it also kind of highlights a typical Sparks song. I mean, the topic, if you're going to write a song about incest, you know, in a non-dirty way, that's very typical Sparks. They can write about all these kind of odd topics that are maybe if someone else did it, it might go wrong very quickly. But here they do it in a
Humor and wordplay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very tongue in cheek.
And of course, when you listen to the track, it's not some. It's, yeah, well, the delivery is not serious as well. You know, if you said earlier, there's a lot of irony in the singing, and of course, this is you know, a performance that some might say, is this meant seriously or is it not? And we're left to wonder and ponder.
Like a Wonder Girl.
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't think we have anything more to add. Thank you to everyone who was watching us on this little silly love song. And we'll be back in a few days with the next track on Sparks, a song called Roger. Also an interesting, fun little thing. We also have a podcast where we are discussing this whole album from early history to it was released. And over on Patreon, you can support us if you like. We have put the whole podcast there along with all the songs from this album in an early access. And of course, we have other albums that we are discussing there as well. Until then, again, thank you and have a nice day.
Good night.
Don't wander off in the night.